All right.
It is 5 o'clock, Stephen, so why don't you go ahead and get
All
started?
right. We'll call the meeting to order. I would ask that anybody who's not speaking try and play with the mute and turn your mic off if you're not speaking. And if you need to speak or want to speak, just let us know. Oh, can you hear us, Jerry?
Yeah, now I can. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you hear Jerry?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I can hear Steve.
All right. Anybody that it looks like, aside from, I believe it's the newspaper at 320. Aside from that, it looks like we don't have anybody else joining the call, but if anybody does, we'll bring them in for public participation if they want to say anything later on in the meeting. So we'll call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody look at the, I should have had a flag that would show up on here. That's okay. So stand with the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Man, that was like the speedy version.
That was that was an odd version of just staring at the computer screen. But all right, so thank you guys for joining us this way. We'll take let's take a quick because we're recording this. Let's just do a quick present. As I call each name off the board members. So Stephen Blondo present, Kim Bonzak. Oh,
you got to turn your microphone on, Kim.
Sorry.
Okay. Julie Peterson.
She's struggling with her microphone.
All right. Oh, there she is. Present, she said. Okay. Lisa Anderson Reed.
Here.
Ben Anderson.
Present.
Jerry Peterson.
Present.
Okay.
He's present by phone.
All right, perfect. So we've got the board here. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Let me see. No.
Okay. If there's no additions or changes to the agenda, then I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
And
Julie's
I'll
making the
second.
motion and Lisa second. Okay. All in favor of approving the agenda, we have to do roll call. So Stephen, aye. Jerry,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Kim. Oh, Kim's still muted.
I'm sorry. Yes, I.
Okay. And Lisa.
Aye.
All right. All in, motion carries. And on to the consent agenda.
One of the things, Stephen, I think you should talk about is like if people wanted to do the public part, so at least they have some
Oh, yes.
warning that how do they go about doing that?
They can either, well, I think the best would be to email me, steven.blondo@isd97.org. Again, Stephen, STEVEN .blondo, BLONDO @isd97.org. Otherwise, if it's anybody that's on the call, if you simply turn off your mic and kind of make a little note that we'll get to you as soon as we can. So if that works, we'll look at anything on the consent agenda. I'm going to make a motion to approve it. I'm going to get a second, and then we can discuss.
I'll second.
Oh, Kim.
Okay, so we've got a motion from Stephen, a second from Kim. Thanking, I see a big thank you to Paul Olson, who's got his retirement in. And thank you, appreciation to Brenda Valine, as for her work as a para.
How many years has Paul been a teacher at Moose Lake?
That's a long time. I'd say I've been here 22. He's been here longer than that. So I bet you he's in his 30s.
I'm just going to unmute myself because
Yes.
I had Paul his first year at Moose Lake.
That was when I was in 6th grade. So
Oh my God.
that would have been in 85, 86 school year.
So we
Wow.
may be giving Julie a run with her board. Well, wonderful. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that consent agenda? If not, I'm going to call a roll call for approval. Steven says aye. Ben,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Kim, unmute Kim. Oh, okay. Lisa
Aye.
and Jerry.
Aye.
All right. All opposed, none. So motion carries, or consent agenda is approved. Public participation, again, if you would like to participate, you can either email me at steven.blondo@isd97.org. I'm not seeing anything coming into the inbox. So
And I think we
we
have
will,
to give some time. So if you would just give
I'll just-
a little leeway, maybe at the
Yep.
end of the meeting, you could also look, okay?
that works. All right. Moving on then to good things happening, Bob.
Okay, thank you to Moose Lake Township for their donation of $5,000 to our summer rec program. They do that every year, and that's a substantial amount of money. Thank you to Math Counts Foundation for their donation of $120 to offset the Math Counts expenses. And then thank you to Lee and Joe Mogan for their generous donation of $500 to the school lunch program. And so that was very nice.
Wonderful. Thank you. Looks like we've got reports next. Bob, you want to start with the superintendent report?
Yeah, first and foremost, later on in the meeting, you're going to be approving a new superintendent contract. I wanted to officially say congratulations to Billy Joe. I think you guys made a good choice there, so wanted to say that publicly. The other thing is, though, you have to, I think that you need to put some thought into the principal's position as to whether you want me to advertise it now or if you want to have a separate discussion on how you're going to deal with the principal position, because we should probably get going on that soon now that you've made your decision. The other thing that I would like you to think about is with Billy Joe coming in, kind of a new leadership, you may want to do some strategic planning. You may want to maybe in July or August, do some strategic planning with Billy Joe, maybe even set new goals. I think that's a good thing because that's how you evaluate her is from your strategic plan. So just a suggestion. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is how are we dealing with employees who are still here. Basically my entire ASME unit is still, they're still getting paid. They're supposed to be working in the building. And what I did with the ASME unit, the paras, the cooks, the custodians, and I know I'm forgetting the major bus drivers, is basically they're not working every day of the week. Some are working 1 week on, 1 week off. Some are working 3 days a week, that type of thing. But we had to come up with some sort of protocol in case, people start getting sick, and how do we deal with the leave? And this is what we are doing. The federal government has given us guidelines. There's 6 different categories that people could fall into. For example, if they're caring for somebody who has COVID, or if they themselves have symptoms of COVID, or that type of thing. So there's 6 different categories. And so if an employee feels that they fit into one of those categories, they can fill out the paperwork. Basically, they have to get like a doctor's note. And if they get that doctor's note, there's a new federal law that basically says they get 10 days. So they get paid 10 days. Then what we're going to have them do is, if they qualify, then they have to take the rest of their leave, sick leave, personal leave, whatever they have. And then after that, If they did qualify, they would still get paid, but we were going to give them a special COVID leave. And that's what we're going to call it, so that people know in the future, why did they take this? You know, how did this person get this? So there's no type of drawing a blank. There is a precedence. We didn't set a precedence. This is a unique situation. If a person is does not fit one of those categories, but just doesn't feel comfortable coming in, but they're still getting paid, they have to make a decision. Okay, if they choose not to come into work, you know, they would either have to quit, or if they chose not to come into work, then we would have to, you know, go towards termination on that. So I just want you to know how we're dealing with employees. And so far it's going well. We don't have people sick. Everything seems to be going pretty well here with the food service and the child care. And I'm going to let Billy Joe and Craig talk about the distance learning, but it seems to be going pretty good with the employees that we have here. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, we've been trying to do a joint powers with Barnum. We are very close right now to doing that. And my problem is that COVID has arrived and sidetracked us a little bit. As a matter of fact, Mike McNulty, the superintendent at Barnum, actually has it right now. So it's been kind of sidetracking us. And but I do have a document, but I certainly don't want to bring it to you until we have our lawyers look it over, so that you've got a good, clean copy of it. So that's where we're at with that.
Great, thank you. Next up is the elementary board report. Everybody should have received that from Craig. Craig, do you have any updates or highlights for us?
Well, just so you know, a couple of things. All four things are kind of an important process. We do have a reading curriculum presentation happening this week from Fontes and Pinnell. That was one of the two companies that we are looking at for purchase for our reading resources for the next year. The other things that we've got some hiring to do in the elementary. We've done and completed the interviewing for the COTA position, the Certified Occupational Therapist Assistant. I also have 2.5 elementary positions to hire for, so I'm in the process of screening those applicants, and we'll probably begin the hiring process on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Kindergarten is, you know, we don't have kindergarten roundup. What we do have is kind of kindergarten registration this year, since there is not an on-site roundup. So Jackie and I, end of last week, got things ready and kicked out the registration process, and we're starting to receive, you know, numbers of kids, you know, getting confirmation of those kids that will be coming for kindergarten roundup next year. And again, we are looking, our numbers say 56, but obviously that, you know, will change. Families not deciding to come, or we do get new families, or kids just maybe waiting a year as well. But that's the big thing with kindergarten registration. We did also inform them that the kinder camp is at this time on hold. Bob asked me to talk a little bit about distance learning and kind of what it looks like in the elementary. We have, you know, kind of two different ways that we're doing distance learning with the primary kids versus the upper elementary kids. The upper elementary kids are kind of doing very similar things to what you'll find in the 7, 8, and in the high school mode. K3, for the most part, are doing distance learning packets. Teachers initially got materials ready and outlined what the schoolwork is going to look like, you know, for the course of the next few weeks or so in their distance learning packets. Parents were able to pick those up just prior to the 8-day, right after our 8-day times where we had to, get ready for distance learning, we did have a window for parents at the end of that week to pick up their distance learning packets. The upper elementary kids, however, are doing a lot of their, getting a lot of their resources and their schoolwork either through Schoology, Google Classrooms. I know a lot of the, Megan Nielsen's doing instructional videos with some of her math lessons. And even some of those kids that do struggle getting Wi-Fi, we are also providing to some of those kids in the upper elementary grades distance learning packets as well. And again, bus drivers are also taking out materials each week on Wednesdays to send out new materials to the kids as well. And then also staff meetings we're also doing via Zoom. So that's kind of how things are looking in the elementary as far as distance learning and kind of the current things that we have going.
How are the teachers doing, Craig? You know,
Well, I think, we kind of have a mixed bag. I think, some are doing better than others. This is obviously very, very different, but somewhat challenging, with just kind of the, if you want to call it the fear of the uncertainty, are the kids, we know they're getting the materials, but are the materials always getting, done and with the, the amount of time that's really needed? I think kind of the common theme that I found was, kids that may struggle in school kind of are the ones that might be struggling at home a little bit. So it's, some are doing well and some are, getting by, but it's just, it's really, it's different. And, elementary is so much more hands-on, a lot of one-to-one type things, especially with like our interventionists and whatnot. So it's just really kind of a mixed bag, but we're doing the very best we can. And I am hearing a lot of good things though with how they're connecting with families. And I just want to say too that it is tonight is typically conference night, and teachers are spending extra time. And one of the directives I gave them is to make sure that they are connecting with families, not just the kids, but also the parents, because of we do have a half-day conferences this night. So I told them it didn't have to necessarily be this night, but somehow this week to make sure that they're connecting with the parents to talk about student progress and see how the kids are doing as well.
Craig, did you say how often are the teachers getting together on Zoom and supporting each other and that? Because I think that's important.
Yeah, at a minimum weekly. We have I have my staff meeting every week.
Okay.
I know upper elementary is getting together most every single day. And then we also have the Wednesday PLC times that the teachers are still getting together. So there is a ton of Zoom meetings going on.
Okay.
A
That's
ton.
good. It's good to get connected. So.
Yeah. For sure.
Great. Anybody have any other questions for Craig? Well, thank you, Craig, and please pass on to your staff. Thank you, and keep up the good work. We're impressed and excited about everybody being willing to move things around in this challenging time. So
It's very challenging. Exactly. I will do that.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And then we've got a board report from Billy Joe on the high school side of things. Billy Joe, you want to give us some, give us a rundown as well?
Sure. I'll give you some highlights there. Graduation, I had a Zoom meeting with senior parents last week on Monday. And then after that, sent a follow-up survey to them just to give them an opportunity to provide some feedback about some things that we maybe could do for graduation. We have graduation on May 24th. So we are anticipating that we will still have some kind of graduation ceremony with our students. And it's going to be really based on what we can do and what the requirements are going to be in place. But we are planning for a variety of different possibilities there. So, and I know that our senior advisor too has been communicating with the seniors as well and has them started thinking about that too. One of the things, if you are on Instagram, the seniors did start a senior 2020. I'll find out what that is and I'll send it out to you. They wanted a way for them to stay connected with each other too, so they started a group on Facebook and they're highlighting their own their graduation pictures and what their plans are for after graduation and that sort of thing. So a couple other things that we have in the works. We have a banner that John Lauer is putting together with their senior class group photo that's in the yearbook, and we're going to have that up down at the arena. I don't remember if I told you this in my email. And Guile is going to put the names of the seniors up on the sign there too, so that we could recognize them as well. So a couple things going on there. I just want to welcome Megan Nielsen part-time to the high school next year. That is why Craig had mentioned that he'll be looking for a half-time elementary teacher. So Megan is going to join us and teach our 8th grade math. So we are excited about that. Craig mentioned conferences tonight, a little extra challenge in that we know that in our community, some of the phones aren't working right now. So we sent out we put something on Facebook about that so parents could follow up with us. And if teachers aren't able to get a hold of the families, then they'll follow up with an email and get something scheduled at a later time this week. So, and then just as far as distance learning is going, very similar to what Craig was talking about in the upper elementaries, teachers are, actually, before our last day with students, we had teachers make sure every kid had a Google Classroom set up for every class and got kids enrolled in that in case we weren't coming back. And so a lot of those pieces were put into place there. I know teachers are working very, very hard. Some teachers had a lot of stuff already in that kind of format and others hadn't yet. So it was, some new skills to learn for some people too, but I do know everyone is working very hard. Kind of what Craig said too, in terms of part of, teachers work hard anyways, but part of what they get back from it is that interaction with the kids and those relationships that they have with them. And so I think we're starting to really miss that even more so now too, because you don't have that interaction on a daily basis. You worry about your kids that you aren't getting contact from, and they're doing their best to reach out to families in a variety of avenues too, to make sure that kids are doing okay. But it's hard when you can't see them and you don't have them in your room every day to check up on them. So, and to your question, Lisa, we do have regular meetings. I included that on my list, on my report too. We have a check-in, check-out Mondays and Fridays right now with staff as needed, or as long as we need to do that. We'll keep doing that twice a week. To address those student concerns, we have student assistance team meetings. We have had a student assistance team, kind of like the elementary care team, in place, but we had to modify that a little bit. So we're meeting more regularly and making sure that we meet about every grade every week because of this transition time and because it just being what it is. And so, so we are having a lot of meetings, a lot of opportunity to connect with each other too. So
That's good. Can we hear
Great.
from Lee and see what he thinks?
Good idea.
Lee, we're gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah, Lee. I'd
Yeah, sure, no problem.
like to know how you're doing.
Well, I was not one of the teachers who had a lot of material online, and I didn't use Google Classroom before all of this. So for me, there's been a bit of a learning curve there. And that's maybe one of the more satisfying things about what has been going on is I've been working hard and learning some new things, and it's gone well. I have 2 teenagers at home, as most of you know, so I'm kind of living all of this, from both perspectives in a way, and it's a challenge. My kids are good students and they like school, but they are not seeing their friends. And for teenagers, that's a big deal. So it's a roller coaster. And I guess I would say that about all of this. The teaching part, there are little successes, and then there are days that go by and I feel like, yeah, it's already 5, 6 o'clock and I've worked all day and I didn't so there's ups and downs every day, and try to focus on the ups and work through the downs.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And yes, thank you to you and Billy Joe. Thank you to your staff as well for all your hard work. And
Stephen, I have a couple questions too.
yes, go ahead.
One question I have, and then I have a comment. I'm assuming that we're learning, everyone's learning, in terms of having to deal with this. Are you concerned, when I say you guys, there's concerned that online learning may have added
Kim, I'm having a hard time hearing you. You're cutting out.
learning?
Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Sorry. I don't know if everybody else is.
Oh, try again, Kim.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yes.
Okay, I'll say it again. I guess the shortest version of this question. Are you guys concerned at all that and spike based on for the next school year and going forward when students realize, hey, this is a lot easier and effective and I can, well, are we concerned that this will, the online learning, they're pulling away from funding, from ramifications? You guys concerned about that? I know there's a lot of negatives, of course, but I'm hearing some students love it. They didn't even thinking about doing it. Now that they know that it works well, I wonder that could have a negative impact for us from an enrollment standpoint, funding standpoint. But we have
So, Kim,
forward. I guess what are we taking away from this? There's a lot of things we learned from a standpoint, but what have we also learned that we better prep for so that better position ourselves as and the funding down the road from the enlightenment that these are now having. Does that make sense?
So Kim, you were still cutting in and out, but if I understood, it capsized what you just sort of said, or that you're wondering, there's been a lot of positive feedback from kids about this distance learning and the concern of when we're back, how many will we lose to online learning if they decide that's an easier way to go, and are we doing anything to kind of learn from how this is going to help us move forward in helping those kids out and not losing them as bodies in the school? Is that
exactly? Thank you.
Okay.
That's correct.
So Lee, Billy Joe, Bob, Craig, anybody, we'll turn it over to you guys to give us some feedback, what your thoughts are.
Well, I think that the whole way we do education is going to change for a minimum of a year and a half. So we won't know. We won't know until next year, but you can be assured that this online portion or distance learning is going to become a little bit more prevalent than it was in the past. I don't know that I can comment more than that because we don't know. So, but it's definitely worth keeping track of.
I would just add to that we're not doing traditional online learning. You know, we haven't had teachers really trained in the pedagogy of online learning, making sure they're hitting all of their standards. I mean, they are doing some standards-based instruction, but this looks very different than a kid who's taken a full-time online program from another provider. So I think it's important that we communicate that well too, because what we've talked about is we know that our families are struggling. This is a time of crisis in our communities right now too. So we are trying to make sure that what we're doing with kids makes sense and that it's put into perspective and that it fits in with all of the other things that are going on around us right now. And I think that looks really different than a traditional online learning environment too. So, but I understand what you're saying, Kim, too. Well, some kids think, oh, this is what it is. That sounds good to me. I guess we have to wait and see. But then I think that that's really not what it looks like from another provider either. So.
Great. Anybody have anything else to add? That was very helpful. Thank you. Kim, did you have another question or was that?
I didn't have another question. I just want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right. Board committee reports. I believe I think the negotiations met, right?
Yep.
Anybody have
Yep.
a report?
I'll give that report because
Okay.
AFSMI, we met with AFSMI and they did agree to our final proposal. And we're waiting for them to ratify it. Obviously, they have to find a new way to ratify their thing, to ratify the contract. So we're trying to get all the contracts out to everybody now. And that should be wrapped up by next month, I hope.
Great. And I think that was the only board meeting, committee meeting. So unless anybody has any other board committee meetings. Nope. PTA update. I assume they've not met since, or have they?
Ben, do you have that?
Or Kim?
Or
Yeah,
Kim?
they have not met. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear
Yes.
me? Okay. So, we discussed having a Zoom meeting last week. That didn't happen. There's some key PTA members or some members of the PTA where their businesses are really impacted. So what we're trying to do is come up with ways to raise money, and whether it's pulling from PTA funding or have a GoFundMe page, what have you. We haven't really come to any kind of consensus, but what we're trying to do is figure out ways to help the small businesses in our community, but how to go about that and where to go from a starting standpoint. We're kind of in limbo and still digesting and thinking about the best route. So Laura's really taking the horns on these ideas, and we're hoping to consolidate and come to some sort of an agreement or a decision on how best to help the community in our efforts. But as far as that goes, that's the only update that I'm aware of for PTA. Ben, do you have anything else you can update on?
No, I know that Zoom meeting they were going to try for was tonight at 5 o'clock is what it
Oh, was
went
it
for.
tonight?
It was tonight at 5, but so I don't know if they actually did it. It would be going on right now is what it would be. So I don't know
Okay.
what they did.
I actually got an update from Laura. Do you want me to read it quick?
Sure.
She said, we are having a Zoom meeting tonight to plan for Moose Lake School Staff Appreciation. We are ordering school supplies to be sent to the school for distribution next fall. And we will be having a Zoom meeting again on Monday, May 4th at 5 p.m. So.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. I think that's it for reports. We'll move on to agenda items. And agenda item number 1, to consider accepting the $5,000 donation from Moose Lake Township to the Summer Rec Program. In a motion and a second, we can discuss.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Julie Peterson's making the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Kim Bonzak, second. Any discussion? Very big thank you to Moose Lake Township for their donation. We'll take a roll call vote. Julie? Oh, Julie, we're taking a
What's
roll
that?
call vote.
Oh, yes, sorry.
That's okay. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Stephen, aye. And Jerry?
Aye.
All right. And thank you to Moose Lake Township. The second agenda item is to consider accepting a $120 donation from Math Counts Foundation to offset the Math Counts expenses. Get a motion and a second for that, and we can discuss.
Motion.
Jerry's making the motion.
Jerry Peterson made a motion. Can I get a second? Okay, Lisa, second. Any discussion? Thank you to the Math Counts Foundation for the $120 donation. All in favor, Ben,
Aye.
Kim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
and Jerry.
Aye.
And Stephen, aye. Motion approved. Consider accepting, I'll make a motion to accept the $500 donation from Joe and Lee Mogan to the school lunch program. Can I get a second?
I'll second it, Peterson.
Okay, Peterson second. All in favor, Kim,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Stephen, aye. Jerry,
Aye.
and Julie.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Item number 4 is to consider approving the 2020 to 2021 membership enrollment renewal agreement with Northern Lights Special Ed Cooperative. Can I get a motion?
I'll
Okay, go
make
ahead.
the motion.
Lisa made the motion in a second.
I'll second.
Second from Julie.
Peterson.
Okay. All right, all in favor, Kim,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
Stephen, aye.
Bob, what's so funny?
Oh, that was Ben delayed his eye. It made me laugh.
It's internet at school.
Oh, man. Agenda item number 5, consider approving Billy Jo Steen's request for a 1-year special leave of absence from her current position of secondary principal.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Lisa made the motion. Can I,
Jerry seconded.
okay.
I think we should all get to make that motion.
Yeah. So we'll take a vote. Stephen, aye. Jerry,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Kim,
Aye.
and Ben.
Aye.
All right, unanimous decision approval on that. Item number 6 is to consider approving the 2020 to 2021 superintendent contract with Billy Jo Steen. Can I get someone to make the motion?
I'll make
Jerry?
the motion, Julie.
Oh,
Or
Was
Jerry.
it,
If he said it first, that's fine.
which
I'll second.
one?
all right. Jerry made the motion. Julie seconded.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll vote. Roll call vote. Lisa,
Aye.
Stephen, aye. Ben,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
and Kim.
Big aye.
All right, congratulations, Billy Joe,
Yeah.
and welcome. Yes, wonderful. Item number 7 is to consider approving the resolution proposing to place Arden Kruger on unrequested leave of absence. I'll make that motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Julie.
Peterson.
Any discussion?
Yeah, can you provide a little bit more on that? So he has requested a leave of absence for the following school year for the part-time? Or
No,
Can you
no,
elaborate?
this is us placing him on unrequested leave for 0.5 of his position. That was one of the cuts that we had.
Okay, I thought you were,
So, so last time you cut the position, this time you cut the person.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? If not, do a roll call vote. Stephen, aye. Kim,
aye.
Ben,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
and Lisa.
Aye.
All right. Item number 8, I will make the motion to consider the creation of a Barnum, Moose Lake, Willow River School Board Cooperative Committee. It's a mouthful. If I can get a second, I can give you guys kind of a rundown on what we're looking at here.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. So this came from, I'm going to read exactly what kind of came through. The board chairs of Barnum, Moose Lake, and Willow River have met on 2 occasions to discuss common concerns, both short and long term. After having feedback from our respective boards, it was agreed that it was time to develop a format in which members from each district begin to meet to address concerns. Therefore, each chair is recommending to their board that their district create a new committee called the Barnum, Moose Lake, Willow River School Board Cooperative Committee. The recommendation is going before each board this month. The source of concern is understanding that our future is uncertain based on changing demographics, declining enrollment and funding. Preparing for change is a priority for our schools and our communities. We have a mission of working together for the success of our students and the benefit of our communities by exploring opportunities for cooperating and sharing. The committee format, each district will have 3 members and 1 alternate. The chair of each district will be 1 member, and each district will host meetings on a rotating basis. Part of the first meeting will be to establish the meeting format, such as agenda, minutes, and voting, etc. Therefore, then it says, if approved, the chair will appoint committee members. So we also believe that the first meeting is vital for relationship building. So we will not start that meeting until we'll start as soon as possible, but that remote meeting will not provide the form of connection we're looking for. So we'll delay meeting for the first time until such time that it's deemed safe to meet. Any questions or comments about that?
One of the things I wanted to say is, what's going to happen here with this COVID is that we're not going to bring in as many taxes. And just remember, that's how you get your money is through the state for the most part, a little bit from federal, but a lot from the state. And so this is something that I think is important for you guys, is to talk to districts and find ways that you can share. And that's kind of what we've been dealing with the transportation and the other stuff that we're doing with Barnum. So I think I commend you for doing that.
This is separate from the Barnum transportation. It may all get looped together at some point in time, but for now, this is a separate committee. The superintendents have been meeting for a while, trying to discuss some of these. I know principals have been discussing some of these things, but we decided it was a good time for the boards to get involved and kind of decide how this works. We've had that successful 30-year plus cooperative for athletics, and it's time to discuss what else can we be cooperating with. And I think this is a great opportunity. This is something that I was approached by the Barnum board chair, and we brought Willow in as well and said, let's all sit down and talk about this. So it's a good opportunity to see where we can go with that. If there's no further questions, we'll take a roll call. Stephen, aye. Jerry?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julie? Nope. Julie? Aye.
Aye.
Kim?
Hear me?
Aye.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, Julie, did you have something else?
No.
Okay.
Aye.
And Ben?
Aye.
All right. Item creation of the committee passes. So item number 9 is to consider accepting an MOU for the reduction in Sue Caroline's position from 175 days to 140 days. I will make, oh, go ahead.
I'll make a motion.
All right, I'll second. Bob, do you want to give us a quick, this is something we do.
This is something that, let me make sure I got, This is something that Sue is requesting, and as you remember, we have a company that is taking over our technology, and as they're becoming more familiar with our place, Sue's time is not needed as much, and nor does she want the time. And so it's a mutual agreement, and that she's just asking to be reduced from 175 to 140, the number of days.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, roll call vote. Julie? Julie?
She froze.
All right, we'll come back to Julie. Ben?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Stephen? Aye. Jerry?
Aye.
Julie, are you back?
Well, you have a quorum, so.
We'll say abstain, and we'll say we've passed that. So, nothing else on the agenda, so we can actually discuss our next regular board meeting. Again, a teleconference on the 18th of May. Does that work for everyone at 5 o'clock?
Steven,
Oh, yes.
so, as Bob suggested, when are we gonna meet with Billy Joe in terms of strategic planning and scheduling for principal
Yep.
decisions? We decide on that.
Thank you. I was just going to mention that would probably be a good working board meeting. We should probably do that prior to the meeting on the 18th. If that regular meeting works on the 18th, let's schedule a working meeting for, let's see, 2 weeks before that. Does that work? Or a week before? Let's go 2 weeks before.
So, Stephen, can you tell me what it's for again? I couldn't hear Kim.
Oh yeah, to discuss the principal position, or kind of what we view with how we want to do it, if there's any reshuffling on administration, just kind of how things are going to work, and just a kind of a general working meeting to discuss I guess Billy Joe's coming in as a new superintendent.
I would do. I'd do that sooner than later.
All right. What's availability look like for? Let's see. Today's the 20th, so
I recommend May 4th.
May 4th. Okay.
Jerry can make that.
Okay. Everybody else? May 4th.
At
PTA
5?
meetings at 5.
Oh, PTA's at 5 on May 4th.
Okay.
Do you want to meet next week instead? The week before that, 27th.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do 27.
27?
That's fine.
Okay, Jerry can do the 27th.
27th at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And that will just be a working. See here, school board working meeting.
So did you want me to put on principal, and what else do you want on the agenda? Anything else?
Anybody have anything else?
And just overall administrative changes, and I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Expectations, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, did you want to talk about any like strategic thing, or hold that off till later?
I think we need to at least initiate it in that meeting.
Yeah, let's do that as well then.
Yeah.
Just,
Stephen, don't you think we have to have round two, meeting round two on that anyway?
But not actually.
So let's at least add that in so we can initiate the discussions on it.
So yeah, let's do administration, expectations, and strategic planning overview or something like that, and we can just kind of brainstorm a little bit and come up with kind of what everybody's thoughts are, and kind of just get a good discussion going, and then we can go from there. Does that work, Kim? Is that what you were?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll be on the 27th at 5 p.m.
So we have Stephen. So we have two. We have administrative expectations and strategic planning overview.
Yes.
Okay. For sure. Got it.
Okay. And then the regular meeting is May 18th. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Is there any possibility we can move that up to the 11th or the 25th? I mean, who knows if I'm gonna be traveling, but I am scheduled to be gone that day.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering, does the 11th or the 25th or maybe the I don't know, 21st of that week. I'll be back on the 20th.
Thursday the 21st, or do you want to move it to the week before? Hold it on a Monday on the 11th. Anybody?
One thing I think might be helpful is moving it earlier in case we have to make some decisions that we need the board to make regarding graduation.
Good point, because graduation then is the 25th, right?
The graduation is the 24th, the
Or
25th.
24th. Can we move that then to the 11th for our
Yeah.
regular board meeting?
Jerry's okay with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other committees or board meetings we need to address? If not, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
Jerry,
Okay, Jerry made it. I'll
And-
second. Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
Nope, I just wanted Jerry and Stephen. Got it.
Yep. All in favor? One more time, Lisa.
I forgot.
Julie. Ben.
Aye.
Aye.
Jerry.
Aye.
Stephen. I. Kim.
Aye.
All right. Motion approved. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Miss you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks. Bye.
bye. Bye, Jerry.
Okay.